Evening, folks. It's just gone 8 o'clock and we're set for our Christmas Eve live stream. So for all those who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. Being Christmas Eve, hopes all the kids are tucked into bed waiting for Santa to come and bring them presents overnight. I know our kids are busting it out of their skins waiting for the morning. Now just bear with me because there's a couple of thunderstorms rolling around us at the moment, so hopefully we don't lose any internet or connectivity or lights for that matter. Yeah, there's a couple of fronts coming at us at the moment, so hopefully we don't get it too bad here, but it's just starting to rain now. I can hear thunder rumbling all around us, but yeah, it's actually been really stormy here the last couple of weeks, so El Nino, what? That's alright, I don't mind, it gets plenty of water on the lawns, but yeah, coming to you live tonight from Jeff the Boat in the shed. It's actually been living in the shed for the last couple of weeks after we had our little, shall we say, misadventure in the shakedown cruise that we had, where we had that overheating condition that set off the alarms on the dash and dropped the power out, and then after 3 minutes actually cut the engine out, and me, the wife, 2 little boys and the dog was stuck out in the middle of the lake with no power. Luckily by that time I'd actually realised what was going on and started heading towards shore, and we were only a couple of 100 metres away when the motor shut down, and I was able to use the paddles to get us the rest of the way. But since then I've actually had the motor looked at, had it flushed out, and it seems to be running alright, but I'm still not real 100% confident with the stream that's coming out the telltale. It just doesn't seem to be strong enough. So I'm actually going to take it over next week to a Suzuki specialist to get them to flush the system, give it a good sort of once over the cooling system before I actually take it back out again, because the bloke here in Wangaratta who had another look at it for me said, oh yeah, it should be right, but just give it a test. But I was a bit sort of reluctant to take it for another drive with that sort of really poor stream of water at the telltale. So going to take it to a Suzuki specialist, get him to check it over and yeah, make sure it's all right. But the purpose of tonight was sort of twofold: to update you on what was going on with the motor, but also to show you the progress that I've made on the camping boat build in the last couple of weeks, and there's been a lot going on. So I've been coming down every night, put the cricket on the telly on up there and just work away on it, just to get it to a point. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just get it to a point where we can sort of get out on longer trips and potentially stay overnight. Oh, and that's one other thing I want to show you guys before I jump into the boat build update. Let's flip the screen around. Oh, it's actually kind of bright. Hang on. Just bear with me 2 seconds. G'day, Susan. How you going? I want to show you this cool little addition to the shed. I've got to turn, actually it's got a remote. Let's turn it down. Oh, hang on. There we go. That one there. How cool does that look? My wife, for my birthday, got me a custom neon all things outdoors sign for the shed. And I think it looks really awesome with all of my license plates all spread around it. I think it's really cool, and it actually runs on 12 volt too, so I could potentially take that out on the boat with me if I want to go camping and have the sign there. It is Swish. Thanks, Sue. Yeah, it looks awesome. I love it. Make a nice little backdrop for videos down the shed. Geez, the rain's starting to pour down here now. Hopefully I'm still coming through fairly clearly on the video feed. Hang on, let me get back into the boat. We're back. Alright, so the main changes that I've made to the boat build so far have been the... Let me stand for a sec so you can actually see what I'm sitting on, and I'll flip the screen around. We've started installing some carpet in here. I wasn't super happy with just the plain fiberglass floor, and I could see that it would be slippery if it got wet or quite hot if it was left out in the sun. So I've started adding some of this nice marine waterproof carpet, and it's just created this nice lush sort of soft interior for the boat. It'll go all over these little pockets here, up the sides. You can see it goes right underneath the back there where the fuel tank goes. I've got to cut a bit out there where the little bilge pump goes down in there, and then there's the start battery over there. Now in terms of the electrical system, I've got the whole dual battery setup going in as well. So we've got a cable that runs from the start battery over to here, where I've got the 120 amp hour AGM slimline battery mounted in the side there, and I figured that was the best location for it, just to distribute the weight around the boat the best way, because that thing weighs about 30 kilos. It's quite heavy, but the fact that it's slimline means it fits into that pocket nicely. So I'll probably build some sort of cover that goes over the top of it just to hide it away in there and make it look a bit nicer. And then to couple with that battery is the DC to DC charger, which I'm tucking in behind here, so you can still get access to the lights and the switches on that, but it's hidden from view. Well, that rain is really coming down now. Hopefully you can still hear me. Hang on, I'll show you the rain. It is pumping down out there. Can you still hear me, Susan? Good, I can hardly hear myself. Anyway, oh, there we go. It's dropped off already. That's good. So, yeah, flip back around. So, cables from the start battery goes over to the DC to DC charger, which then feeds the 120 amp hour slimline battery. And then I've added this little platform down here, which creates a nice flat place for the King's console fridge, which opens up nicely. Nice sort of space that's tucked away over there, that's not in the way. And that was part of the reasoning of going with this size fridge, was that it would be tucked away and not get in the way when you're in the boat, because I wanted to keep the deck as clear as I can so you can move about. Got plenty of space to walk around, and plus that way you can have the whole family come on board for the day, even the dog, and make sure that there's plenty of room for everyone. So that's basically the electric. Oh, hang on. I'll show you this other cool thing too. I've put in gunnel lights around here to light the foot space up nicely. So that should be cool at night time as well. With a bit of lighting, just a bit of subtle lighting around there that's not too bright. And then I've also got another LED light that's going to go up here that's on a separate circuit for the sleeping area. And I actually got the bimini delivered the other day too, which you can see there. And in the bimini, oh, I can hardly hear myself. There it goes again. In the bimini, rain is crazy. Woo! pumping down out there. I'm going deaf. It is that Murphy bastard. Do you mean Dan Murphy's? Because he's a good guy, that guy. Yeah, Murphy's Law, you try and do a live stream in a shed and it pours down rain and you can't hear a damn thing. Still going. Yeah, it's going. I'll keep talking on the off chance that people can actually hear me, and the rain gets me here again. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's bad. Dan will be having some issues with this kind of weather, I reckon. Great. I'm surprised it hasn't started hailing yet. Oh goodness. Oh, that rain's heavy. Sorry, people are dropping off because they're probably sick of me talking about the rain and can't even hear me. Anyway, I'll attempt to keep trying to explain what's going on. Thanks, Susan, it is classic. Yeah, so we got the extra LED light bar up there on a separate circuit for the sleeping area, and once I put the bimini in the top, I'll put another LED light bar up in the bimini with a plug that you can disconnect it if you ever take the bimini off on another separate circuit, so we've got that nice overall ambient light as well. So there'll be no shortage of lighting options for the entire boat, depending on what application you're trying to go for in that whole situation. So getting lighter. So yeah, that should be cool. And I guess after a couple of trips out overnight, you know, I'll get to learn what works best and what doesn't, and I may add or take lights away or whatever. But anyway, the next modification that I'm going to start working on, you might have noticed these couple of sets of drawers over here. Under the captain's chair here, there's this big open sort of storage area, which, you know, can accommodate a lot of stuff, but it's not really usable in the fact that everything would just be piled up on top of each other in there. So what I'm going to do, and you can see I've already marked it out, is cut it out so that I can insert those drawers into there. That way I can put camping gear in there or cooking gear, that sort of thing. So it's easier to access and makes better use of that space. So I thought these couple of drawers here really fit that space rather snugly. So it's going to be a really good use of space as well. And it just so happens there's a nice gap in the back of about 200 mil, 20 centimeters. And here's a little 10 litre water tank, which I'm going to mount in the back behind those drawers with the little tap that comes out the side. Yeah, Brendan, it is. Boats are just a bit of a money pit, aren't they, mate? And I've had a few of them, and I'm well versed with that situation, that's for sure. But yeah, then the hope is that I can actually cut a hole in the top there, so the filler port is accessed through there. You can fill it up, and then the tap comes out the side here, so you can fill up with fresh drinking water. This little drink holder thing here, I'll probably move that because I've got another idea for adding some table space. I've got these two fold up L brackets, and I'm going to attach those to the back side of the captain's chair there with a table that flips up. So that way you can put a cooker on there and cook your dinner or whatever you want to do, and you've got a bit of sort of fold up space. That way you can fold it away as well when you're not using it. So I think that'll probably be a good addition to the boat camping rig. Now you notice I've only sort of half done the carpet as well, because I had to build the platform for the fridge first, and then that'll enable me to cover it all with carpet and make it look like it's actually part of the floor and not a piece of wood that's obviously different to the fiberglass. And then all of that carpet will run up in the middle of the V-berth there. Now, in terms of the sleeping situation, you can sleep on those V-berth beds, and the bloke who sold it to me said he did that, but I mean they're only 30 or 40 centimeters wide and they're not terribly comfortable looking. So the aim of the game is to create a little platform that joins the two, and then have like a cutout big sort of double mattress that goes in there maybe, or even just throw a swag mattress in there and only utilise part of it. And then perhaps further down the track, that wooden platform that I put in there, I can give that a double use and make it pop up on a leg as a table, so you can sit in there and eat at a table as well. So obviously when you've got a very small space, things need to have double uses, so that you know, sort of warrants the installation, I guess. Now you may be thinking as well, camping out in the water, you know, obviously water attracts mosquitoes, so what are we going to do about mosquito proofing the boat? I've got sort of two things I'm looking at. The first one is to get one of those, you might have seen the magnetised fly screen door things that you push through them and the magnets automatically clip back up behind you. Well, my plan is to buy a set of those and modify it that it gets mounted inside here, and that way you can push through and push out easily and it closes behind you and seals up the sleeping space, which would be awesome, you know, to be able to fully enclose that area to stop mosquitoes obviously getting in there and biting you while you're asleep, but still allowing airflow. You know, it's a big sort of enclosed box which could get quite hot in the summer months. Yeah, Susan, I actually saw some, because we caravan quite a lot. I mean, you can see our caravan sitting out there. People have used those magnetised fly screens in their caravan doors, so they can push in and out of them quite easily to keep their caravans cool with the door open without having to open and close the door all the time. That's where I got the idea from. Anyway, my other idea, which might even be a better idea, which gives me more space, is I've got one of the four-wheel drive awnings that you know, goes on the side of your four-wheel drive, and they actually sell those tent enclosures that clip into the awning. Now I've got one that's actually a mosquito clip-in that goes into the awning, and it happens to be very close to the external dimensions of the back section of the boat here. And I was wondering whether I could actually rig up a way to clip it into the bimini once it's eventually in here, and then you can have the entire deck space enclosed with mosquito netting. So that'd be cool to be able to get up and move around but still be protected from mosquitoes when you're out in the water. I mean, if you're going to be fishing, it's probably a bit of a pain in the butt trying to get a fishing rod in and out all that time, but yeah, we might sort of play around with it and see how it works for us. But anyway, that's the main sort of things that I've been working on in the meantime. So I really want to, obviously things are going to slow down with Christmas and Boxing Day and, you know, the festivities over the next couple of days, so I won't be able to do too much work to the boat in that time. But I really want to get this motor situation sorted out so that I can trust the motor to go on those longer trips, obviously to go and camp in the boat, you know, go out overnight, that sort of thing. And then sort of get stuck into the real modifications to make it, comfortable while we're out camping as well. So I think we're getting there. My vision's sort of coming into fruition. It's not going to be the prettiest looking thing to start with, it's just going to be functional. And then down the track we might worry about, repaint and making it look a bit prettier as well. So my mind's going a mile a minute all the time with these modifications, and I use a list app on my phone. Every time I get a new idea, I'm like, oh, and I've got it in my list of things that I want to do in the boat build. But my mind just keeps ticking over a mile a minute. Sometimes I'm awake in the middle of the night for an hour thinking of all these cool ideas that I get for the boat build, and don't tend to get too much sleep sometimes, but sometimes I just can't shut my brain off. Once I get on a train of thought, it just, I have to write it down to go back to sleep. So I'll get my phone out, write the ideas on my phone, and then that kick-starts the shopping list of things that I need to buy to make that sort of plan, that vision come to life in terms of what I want to build. And then I've got to prioritise what I need to buy to do those builds as well. So, to be sort of functional on the water, we need to cover a bimini so that we've got shade. We probably need a fish finder, is probably pretty important. So not so much for looking for fish, but so that I've got a way of detecting the depth underneath the boat. Obviously we don't want to go in shallow waters and get beached or wreck the motor or whatever. And they also give you water temperature indication as well, which I guess is more helpful for fishing as well. But that'll be something that I'll probably have to act on fairly quickly in the process of getting one of those, so that I've got at least a depth measurement under the boat. That gives me sort of a safety margin as well. And then what else? I think that's pretty well it in terms of where we're going. Hopefully you can use stuff you've already got or people give you, save a few quid. Look, I've over the time since I've had the boat for probably nearly 5 months now, Susan, and I've slowly sort of been accruing bits and pieces over that time, because I already had this vision well before I even picked up the boat, because I knew what sort of boat I wanted to get was a half cabin for that whole camping aspect. Plus, with young kids and the family, it really helps to have a lot of shade on the boat too, so the kids can keep cool and not get sunburnt, and it makes the day a bit more enjoyable. And I think when we go out with the kids, when they're a bit older, we'll tow a ski biscuit and they can have a bit of fun behind the boat and everything, because it's got plenty of power for that. Plenty of power. I'm really surprised, because originally this boat had a 70 horsepower two-stroke, it was a Mercury, an old Mercury on it, and I sort of went, is a 50 horse going to be enough? But two things: it was a very old motor, so it's probably lost a lot of horsepower over time, and secondly, the motors back in those days, the power was measured at the flywheel, which is obviously right at the motor, whereas modern outboards, the power is measured at the prop, so you're getting a more accurate representation of the actual power that's applied to the boat. So you could say that the 50 was less power than the 70, but it's newer, so it's probably not lost as much horsepower from new as what the old one did, and it's a 4-stroke, so it's quieter, less smelly. Just so many advantages as well, and trust me, it is super quiet. But just got to get this cooling system issue sorted out, and I think we'll be away to the races, ready for some cool adventures on the water. And that's another thing that I need to sort of address as well, is overcoming the anxiety of actually being able to sleep in a boat overnight. I've never done it before. I've always dreamed about it. It's been one of my dreams to own a boat that I can actually sleep and camp on. But then it's overcoming the anxiety to actually fall asleep on the boat, not being worried about the boat taking on water, or the boat coming adrift from its anchor, or so many other things that you've got to think about when you're on a boat. I downloaded an app which is like an anchor alarm app, which you can set on your phone, so it will pick up your GPS location where you set it at, And if you drift a certain amount beyond that, it'll actually trigger an alarm to wake you up to say, hey, you've obviously broken your mooring or whatever it is, and then you can act to reset it. But the thing is, with the taking on water stuff, I mean, yes, I know this boat's getting a bit older. It's 80s vintage. So there could be some very minor leaks that you might not detect when you go out on a short, couple of hours trip out during the day that you don't detect. But if you're sitting in the water for like 24, hours or more, you might get a slow leak that eventually takes on enough water to cause a problem. So I've come up with an idea for that too, of an automatic bilge pump, one that's got like a level sensor in it. So I'm going to install that as well, so that if it does take on too much water, that bilge pump will automatically kick in to dump that water overboard. So I've got contingencies for the two big things that concern me about sleeping in the boat overnight, but then it's just overcoming the anxiety, which I do have some issues with from time to time, that sort of sometimes preclude me from going on trips when I otherwise would. Overcoming that anxiety to be able to actually fall asleep and physically sleep on the boat, which is the dream I've had for a long time. So that's something that I've never really vocalised on this channel before, that I do have issues with it sometimes, and I really sometimes have to push myself outside of my comfort zone to really know what I'm capable of, and be able to enjoy myself. So if you don't see overnight trips for a while, that might be at play there, but I'll definitely be going out some day trips, getting the confidence in the boat to be able to go further and longer out there. So I think I've said everything I've said. Boat-wise, we are going on a caravan trip early in the new year as well. I may or may not film that. It's just a trip with the family, getting out in the old Chesney again, which we absolutely love getting out in that thing. And it served us so well, that thing. It's 50 years old now. I think 50 years old this year, yep. And it has been a faithful servant of this family, and I'm very attached to it. And we very nearly bought a new caravan last year, but I just couldn't pull the trigger because that thing just keeps on ticking and does everything we need it to do. And I'm actually quite attached to it. But that'd be right. I'm just about to end the live stream and the rain stops. So graded exposure, that will helped you with your fears too. Yeah, well, that's what I'm sort of going for, Susan, is to gradually step myself into going longer and longer and longer, to the point where we're going out overnight. I mean, I'll have to obviously that's another thing I need to do, that we really need to have if we're going to go out overnight, is good navigation lights. So I'll have to have an anchor light that you keep on all night, so that other boaters can obviously see you at anchor. Not that would be much of an issue in the places that I'm planning to go. I'm planning to stay in the freshwater lakes and rivers very close to home here anyway. We may go and do some coastal trips eventually, but I'm not a coastal boater by any shape or form, and tides is something that's very foreign to me. So I'd have to have like an understanding of tide charts, navigation apps. Obviously, you'd need to know where you were and how much water you were in, and how the tide impacts that spot where you intend to camp. So that's a whole other kettle of fish that I'll have to address at a later stage if I intend to go out in the saltwater. Maybe over in the Gippsland Lakes, that'd probably be a good place to sort of cut my teeth in there. But yeah, definitely sort of step myself into gradually getting up to the point where I camp out overnight. I'd have to, I think, put some sort of like spotlight or something on the boat too. If I have to move the boat at night time, say if I have a poor mooring or something goes wrong overnight and I have to move the boat at night time, I'm going to have some sort of spotlight so I can physically see where I'm going at night time as well. So I'll have to put that on the list of things to do prior to camping out in the boat. I think too, something that's movable perhaps. Brendan, you just reminded me of something too. I've got like old spotlights, like when you go shooting for deer and that sort of thing. I wonder if I just put one of those on the boat and have a connection where I can plug it in, and then I can just drive along and spotlight with that to navigate if I ever have to. I mean, I'm not intending to do it unless I absolutely have to. But yeah, that might be a real handy thing to have on the boat as well. And eventually, like creature comforts, things like put a sound system in so you can listen to tunes while you're cruising along in the water with a bit of Bluetooth or a radio or something like that. Some sort of fan system to push air through the cabin. I'd really love to. The windows in there are all fixed sort of perspex windows. It'd be nice to have one that's like some sliding windows in there so I can get a bit more airflow to come through, because you know, when everything's closed up, the only airflow would be coming from this side and it wouldn't be able to push through, so it'd probably get quite hot in there. So whether I just take a little battery fan with me or install something that's in there to help push air through the cabin. Other things like eventually adding a solar panel. I haven't been able to find a good spot to be able to do that. I can't really mount it up on the deck above the cabin because I can't find a solar panel that fits that sort of narrow space, and you need to be able to flip the front door open to get access to the bow. Another thing I've seen people do is put brackets and then on top of the bimini, but I want to be able to fold the bimini up when the boat's on the trailer as well, so you'd have to keep taking the solar panel on and off every time. So I may just go for one of those portable folding solar panels that you just set up when you want to get some solar, and you know, just if you're sitting at anchor or something, that you can put that out up the front, because that DC to DC charger has a solar input as well, so we can start, you know, ramming power back into the auxiliary battery when we're not even moving. So I think that'd be a good thing to be able to extend the time we can have out there, especially if we're running a fridge and lights and, you know, stereos and all that other sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the project. It's got my juices flowing, and yeah, I'll probably put out a video sometime over Christmas which gives a more sort of detailed version of the boat modification, and then yeah, we can start to get into actually using it once we get this engine sorted out and trustworthy. But I'm starting to ramble on now, so I always said I was only going to jump on for about half an hour. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Susan and Brendan for the comments. I appreciate you guys jumping on and giving me ideas. It's nice to have other like-minded people to bounce ideas off, especially not just, you know, in the boating world, but also, you know, I know Susan, you're sort of interested in like truck camping and, you know, vehicle camping, that sort of stuff. And I mean, obviously this auxiliary battery system's just mirroring what I've done in my four-wheel drive as well, so it's no different there. It's just that you're actually floating on water and not sitting on four wheels on land. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining in. Have a Merry Christmas everyone. Stay safe, don't drink too much, don't eat too much, don't drink and drive, and have a good one. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, Happy New Year as well. But thanks everyone for joining me. Peace out, get out there. Merry Christmas. Thanks Brendan. Thanks Susan. Cheers.